What's up, ladies and gents, this is Ghost bringing you another episode of Gun Guide, the series where I showcase what weapons I use, why I use them, and in what situations. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of my favourite pistols, the MP412 Rex. Now, as you guys know, normally I cover primary weapons in this show, but I'm going to be going over this secondary today as they are quite integral parts in Battlefield 3. You are going to be relying on your secondary weapon quite a lot at various points in the game, so it definitely pays to pay a little bit of mind to which weapon you actually select. Now, the footage you're seeing in the background here is going to be from No Shore Canals and Karg Island. Normally, I don't really like playing Team Deathmatch that much, but if you're running around with nothing but a Rex, it's pretty hard if you go on a map that has a lot of different long-range encounters and you've got guys with M16s and sniper rifles off in the distance. You try taking them out with a Rex with only 6 shots. It's damn nigh on impossible, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to go play Deathmatch. Couldn't find any pistol and knife servers, so basically everyone I'm playing against has just, you know, shotguns and whatever the hell they please, and I'm running around using nothing but smoke and the Rex. I decided to go with smoke over the medkit since I can't really use a medkit that much. If I end up getting caught mid-reload with my Rex, I'm pretty much screwed either way, medkit or not, but I figured at least if I have smoke, I can throw that down between me and snipers or any people that I see out of range of my gun. I can just throw the smoke between us and that way they won't actually be able to shoot me. Now, where do I start with the Rex? I definitely feel like I have a love-hate relationship with this gun. It's so awesome up close and personal. With a max damage of 50 and a minimum of 28, you can 2-shot somebody in the body, 1-shot them in the head, but at the same time, it has 255 rounds per minute, which is, you know, pretty decent really, especially when compared with the 160 rounds per minute of the Magnum, but it only has 6 shots in the chamber, and it has a whopping 3.4 second reload time, so it is really good at putting people down, but you chew through those 6 bullets so fast, it really leaves you with your pants down. I mean, a double kill with this thing is definitely possible, you know, 2 shots to the chest. Triple kills can happen, but not all too often. I think they would be much more frequent with the other pistols. Now, if you're somebody who likes to play at longer ranges, you might want to look towards the direction of the Magnum. Definitely the beast of the secondary weapons when it comes to long range encounters, but up close and personal, I would go with the Rex any day. I feel like you're always going to best somebody if you have the Rex and they're using a Magnum at closer ranges. The max damage of the Magnum being 60 and 50 for the Rex, so with either weapon it's going to be a 2-shot kill in the body and a 1-shot kill in the head. The Rex has less recoil, faster rate of fire, faster reload time, so really on all fronts you're going to end up besting the Magnum. As you start to gain a little bit of distance between people, you know, the Magnum is going to do more damage with that headshot. It's also going to do more damage in the body, of course. However, the drop-off does start a little bit later for the Rex. Drop-off starts for the Magnum at 12 meters, but only 15 for the Rex there, so it's still doing that full 50 damage at 15 meters. So, as you might imagine, the recoil of a weapon firing the 357 Magnum round will probably be quite high, and yes, the Rex does have a higher recoil than some of the other pistols, but nothing crazy. It's definitely manageable. You've got a left and right pull of 0.2 and a vertical pull of 1.2, so just to compare that to some of the lower caliber pistols out there, most of them have a left and right pull of 0.1 and an upwards pull of 0.7, so it's nothing crazy that you don't have to cope with. At mid-range, you're probably going to want to wait for the actual weapon animation to come back down from that recoil kick so that you can properly zero your iron sights in on your target before you take your next shot. But it's not an overly long wait as I feel it is with the Magnum. With the Magnum, the recoil is just so insane. It has an upwards pull of 2.0. It's so insane that you sort of feel you have to wait this overly long, awkward amount of time just for your weapon to come back down and get your sights zeroed in again. But with the Rex, it's really not that bad. It feels very natural to me for such a high caliber weapon. And one surprising fact you may not know about the Rex is its aiming down sight accuracy is actually the lowest out of any of the pistols. It comes in at 0.3, the only other pistol having that aiming down sight accuracy being the Magnum. So if you don't aim down sight with the Rex and you're used to hip firing, try and start aiming down sight. One gripe I do have with this weapon is the iron sights on it are really terrible in my opinion. You know, the Magnum has this nice little sort of red pointer on the end of a piece of metal. It's quite thin and it's easy to aim up headshots. With the Rex, you've got this really wide block, and if the enemy is anywhere over mid-range, aiming at their head and pulling off a headshot is really difficult simply because of that. Another reason to try and aim down sights rather than to hip fire is that the Rex actually doesn't have some of the best stats when it comes to aiming, when it comes to hip fire accuracy. It's actually one of the worst pistols, believe it or not, with the exception of the G18 and the 93R. So I've got a little graphic here from Simthic showing you the drop-off damage of the Magnum and the Rex, and this is really one of the main attractions of this weapon. It has over 50 damage, so you're able to pull off a 2-shot kill or even a 1-shot kill if it's in the head. However, the Rex can only maintain that 2-shot kill range of up to 50 meters. Any further than 50 meters and you're doing less than 50 damage per shot. However, with the Magnum having a maximum damage of 60 meters, it can maintain that 2-shot kill range up to 24 meters. So long story short, the Rex is going to win within 15 meters due to its higher rate of fire. But any further than 50 meters and the Magnum is probably going to come out on top due to the fact that it can perform a 2-shot kill all the way up to 24 meters. So I wanted to just touch briefly on what you should actually be thinking about when you pick a secondary weapon. I mean, when you pick a primary weapon, you take a few factors into consideration, such as the map type, the game mode, how many players are on the server, you know, the size of the server, and perhaps things like your class and your playstyle. And you sort of pick your primary weapon based on those things. However, when you pick a secondary weapon, you're really thinking about different situations. I mean, people pick secondary weapons based on different encounters. So for me, say I'm playing Assault, I would probably want to pick a secondary that is good at close to medium range, due to the fact that I'm probably going to be whipping out that secondary when I get caught off guard in mid-reload, or I've emptied my magazine and the enemy is too close to me, so I switch to my secondary. If the enemy is at a long enough range that my secondary isn't really going to be effective, then I'm probably going to go and take cover and go ahead and attempt to reload my primary and take the enemy on that way. But more often than not, you're going to want something that is effective at close range. Another option, of course, is maybe you're playing Recon and you have a bolt action sniper. And in that case, you're probably going to want a secondary that you're going to rely upon much more of the time. A Magnum may be quite nice because it's going to be effective for you while you're sort of moving from cover to cover. You're going to whip out your secondary and it's effective at longer ranges. On the other hand, you may want something for shorter ranges. So you really have to consider a little bit of a different mindset when you select your secondary weapon as opposed to when you're selecting your primary weapon. But with that said, if I'm looking for something to protect me at medium to shorter ranges, the Rex is an absolute beast. I really can't find any other weapon that can best it in close quarters combat, so definitely try it out if you haven't done already. It's not very forgiving though, so make sure you get good with it. You know, your shots do need to be on target. Obviously, if you spam away your 6 shots with those 255 rounds per minute, then you're going to be in deep doo-doo. If you're not that confident with your aim yet, maybe you're a newer player and you want something a little bit more forgiving, you could go for the M1911, which does a max damage of 34 and has 9 rounds in the magazine. All of the other pistols are either semi-auto, but the single fire pistols all have much more rounds in the chamber, but they only have a max damage of 25. Yes, they have higher rates of fire, but just to take an example, the M9 has 400 rate of fire and it has 25 max damage. So really, for that to equal the firepower of the Rex, it would need to have 510 rate of fire to be able to dish out the same amount of damage as the Rex. So there really isn't any other weapon that can best it in close quarters. So that about wraps this one up, guys. Feel free to let me down below what secondaries you use, why you use them, and what you think they're good for. I would really like to hear your opinion. If you have any requests for guns that you think I should try out, and maybe I'll end up liking them, then feel free to leave those down below as well. Thanks ever so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe for more of the same in the future. I've been Ghost, I'll see you next time. Cheers.